Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy Friday. Hey, is today Friday the 13th? I think it might be. I lose track. I've been home for so long now that I just lose track of the days. Anyway, välkommen tillbaka. Tack för sist. För det som är norsk. Welcome back. Thank you for the last time. For those of you that are Norwegian. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Norway, my homeland. To start off, I was born there, Stavanger, Norway, 1963. And if you're not familiar with Norway, Stavanger is on the west coast. It's considered the oil capital of Norway. Off the shore there in the North Sea are where all the big oil rigs are. In fact, I had a cousin that worked on one of those for a few years. He would do, I think it was 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. So the whole time you're out there, you're just stuck there for 3 weeks. He told me a fair bit about it, but that was quite a few years ago, so I don't remember a lot. Anyway, Stavanger, the west coast, Bergen, that's where all the fjords are. Oslo is a very pretty city, but it's more rolling hills. In fact, if you've ever been to Anchorage, Alaska, Oslo reminds me a lot of Anchorage, or vice versa. All of Norway is very green. In fact, one of the things that really strikes me when I fly back into Stavanger, we usually come out of either Copenhagen or Amsterdam when we fly in, and you fly into Stavanger, and the green is just a different green. If you've been to Ireland or Scotland, I'm thinking it's similar to that. But yeah, it just strikes you how green everything is. I remember when I came back to Calgary, Canada. Actually, I was living in Tabor, but we flew into Calgary. After living in Norway for a year and a half in the 80s, I remember thinking how dull everything looked. And I got used to it, and it's actually very pretty up there. It's just so different. The West Coast, the land of the fjords. There's a fjord very close to Stavanger called Lysefjord, and that's where Preikestolen is. Preikestolen, in English, they call it the pulpit, or Preikestolen. Basically means preacher's pulpit, preacher's chair. You know, it's translated in different ways. But if you ever saw the movie Fallout with Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, when him and Henry Cavill, Superman, are fighting on that cliff at the end after the helicopter crashes, that's Preikestolen. And I've actually climbed up there twice. One of the things that really strikes you about Norway is the people are just beautiful people. Not only, I mean, physically, I think they're beautiful people, but they're just nice people. They are very conservative compared to what we're used to in America. Now, you got to take it with a little bit of grain of salt, because I haven't been back there in 15 years, and I haven't lived there in over 40 years. So I understand that it's changed. It's not the same place I left. But so when I'm telling you about Norway, it's my perspective. It's when I lived there. I was not even 5 years old when we moved, so I have very few memories. One of my memories is sitting at my grandma's house. Bestemor is how you say Bestemor, and Bestefar is how you say grandma and grandpa in Norway. Some people say, well, I won't get into that. But I have a memory of sitting outside on these on these rocks, looking down at the creek. And I was probably only 3 in that memory. And she lived out in a place just outside Hjelmeland. Hjelmeland means the land of helmets. The hills around Hjelmeland look like helmets, kind of, when you're coming in from the ocean. That's about, back then you had to take a ferry over to a place called Tau, T-A-U, and then you would drive for about 45 minutes to Hjelmeland. So it took you a little while to get from Stavanger to there. Now there's a tunnel. I think it's the longest underground tunnel in the world, under ocean tunnel in the world. I think it's around 15 kilometers, so around 9.5 miles under the ocean. So last time I was there, we took ferries, which I loved doing as a kid. I loved it as an adult. Now they don't have the ferry going there anymore. So we're a little freaked out about having to drive under the ocean. So that'll be interesting. But where my grandma lived was up from Hjelmeland, right in the mountains. Just this picturesque There's a little lake there. And I hiked up around there, and the views, it's just amazing. If you ever get the chance to go to Norway, if for nothing else, for the scenery, I would suggest going during the summer months. Now, 17th of May, 17 Mai, is kind of the equivalent of our 4th of July. It is the national holiday. Now, Norway got its freedom, its independence in 1905 from Sweden, I believe. They had interchanges with Sweden and Denmark for hundreds of years, but Norway itself, and this is what I claim, and it's fact, it's history. The Kingdom of Norway was formed in 873 AD, I believe, under the first Viking king. So when I hear somebody say Norway established in 1905, I just laugh. In fact, I bought a hoodie for my wife the last time I was back there, and I didn't notice that it said 1905 on it. I would never have bought it, because that's ridiculous. Norway has been around for over 1,000 years. You know, it goes way back to the Vikings, and yeah, it's a very old place. When we talk about old things here in the United States, like 200 years is old. The oldest city, town in the United States, I believe, is St. Augustine in Florida. And I think it was formed in the late 1600s. So it's been around a long time. But, you know, you see a building over here that's 200 years old. That's an old building. We lived in a house that was like 105 years old. That's old. Where we're going, the church there, the main church in the middle of Stavanger, is called Domkirke, which means Church of the Dome, Dome Church. It's about to celebrate its 900th anniversary. It's very cool. I've been in it many times. The Norwegians love the outdoors. I mean, when you hear a Norwegian is born on skis, that's almost true. Most Norwegians are on skis as soon as they can walk. And it's not all downhill. Cross-country skiing is a huge thing in Norway. I used to cross-country ski quite a bit when I was in my teens, and I've gotten away from it. I have a very cool, kind of antique pair of cross-country skis that were made in Norway down in my, I'm working on building a bar/man cave downstairs. And they're very cool. But yeah, they love the outdoors. There's a reason that Norway, a country of 5 million people, dominates the Winter Olympics every time. They have by far the most Olympic medals in history. I think Norway's 400 and some medals, and second place is like probably the US, and I think it's around 270. Those aren't exact numbers, but it's close. And part of it is because they really push is not the right word, encourage the outdoors. I just watched a little thing during the Olympics. Can't remember her name, Mary Carrillo, I think, ex-tennis player. She went over there and interviewed people, and I didn't know this actually, and maybe it's a newer thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Up until the age of about 14, they don't give awards. Like, there's no first, second, third place. And so everybody's encouraged to ski and jump and do all these things, skate, and all the things that they are out excel at. And then once they get that age, they start kind of finding the kids that are really special and obviously have really great skills. And then it starts to become much more competitive. And, you know, it's not a coincidence that they're great at the Winter Olympics. The food in Norway. Norway is not known for its food. There's a lot of fish. When I lived up in North Norway, close to the Arctic Circle, we ate a lot of whale back then because it was a lot less expensive than beef. In Norway, there's not a lot of places to raise cattle. It's so mountainous. There's lots of sheep, quite a few pigs from my experience, tons of sheep, not a lot of cows. I mean, they have cows, but it's not like here where you have ranches with thousands of cattle. So when we were in North Norway, I don't know if they still do it, and it wasn't like endangered species of whale. I ate a lot of whale, and it's not my favorite. Lutefisk is Norway's known for it. I think it's nasty. People either love it or hate it. I think it stinks. It's not good. Another kind of unique thing, if you're ever there, you got to do this. They sell fish in basically toothpaste tubes. You squish it out onto crackers or open-faced sandwiches, and it sounds gross, but it is so good. So good. I'm definitely going to try that when I'm back. Brunost, which is brown cheese. It's goat cheese. Has kind of a caramel flavor to it. A lot of people don't like it. I absolutely love it with some fresh French bread or some fresh sourdough and just butter and brunost, which means literally brown cheese. On top of that is just fantastic. Some people like putting the brunost on bread, butter, and then some jam. That's not my thing. Kumla. Now, because Norway was so isolated for so many hundreds of years, it's not a big country population-wise, but it's a very long country. In fact, if you took Norway on its axis at Oslo and tipped it, it would reach to the bottom of Italy, or close. I might be off a little bit there, but it's close to that. It's a very long country. It's got tens of thousands of miles of coastline, thousands and thousands of islands. So a lot of these little villages were very isolated for centuries. And they established different dialects. Like, I've lived all over Norway, and even now, the dialects are very different. I'm sorry, problems with my throat. Like in Stavanger, where I'm from. Now, I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell if you don't speak Norwegian. If you speak Norwegian, you'll know. Where I'm from, I will say, I'm from Stavanger, and then I'll say it in different dialects. From where I'm from, Stavanger, you'd say, "Jeg er fra Stavanger." If you were from Oslo, it'd be more like, "Jeg er fra Oslo." You roll your R's more. And where I'm from, Stavanger. Bergen is very similar to Stavanger, but Bergen, a lot of people from Bergen think they're their own thing. So there was a saying, I don't know if it's still a thing. They would say, "Jeg er ikke fra Norge, jeg er fra Bergen," which is, I'm not from Norway, I'm from Bergen. But there's a dialect that's very similar to Stavanger. When you get up north to like Trondheim, Tromsø, it's more like, "Jeg kommer fra Trondheim." Now, I know my dialects are not perfect, so if you're Norwegian, I get it. They're not great. But the idea is that it varies where you live in the country. And so the food varies too, from place to place, because it was so isolated. My favorite Norwegian dish is called kumla. And it's basically a potato dumpling. My wife makes them for me. I've never made it, so I don't know exactly how they're made. But they make them different sizes. But my mom always made them about that size, and that's about the size Kate makes them. And you boil them in water, and then you burn butter, and you pour the butter over it and eat it. It is so freaking good. And then the next day, you chop it up, and you fry it in a frying pan with butter. Now, depending on what part of the country you're from, we always had carrots and pølse with it. Pølse means sausage. So you chop up a sausage and fry that. Some people cooked it alongside the kumla. So depending on where you're from, same thing. You're either gonna like it or you're gonna think this is gross. I love it. It's fantastic. They have very unique traditions as far as holidays. Christmas Eve is Christmas in Norway. And that's how we always celebrated it growing up. I've told this story before. When Christmas comes around again, I'll tell my experience of my first Canadian Christmas. And it was rough for us kids. It's just what you're used to. But you will find that the people there are very friendly. Like I said, they're a little more conservative than us as far as just talking to strangers. But anybody under the age of, I would say, close to 50 is going to speak English. It's just taught from when you're a little kid. And if you notice any YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever that are from Norway, you'll see they speak very good English. Some of them don't even have accents. I follow a guy on YouTube, Magnus Midtbø, you might say if you don't know the language. He's from Bergen, and he's kind of an adventure guy. He goes caving and he goes into the outdoors, and I've just discovered him just in the last couple of weeks, being kind of out on my feed. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I've really gotten into him. I think he's got like 4 million followers, so he's pretty big on there. If you dig that kind of thing, look him up. In fact, I'll try and remember to put a tag for him in here, because I really enjoy his stuff. And he's also Norwegian, which is cool. I'm sure there are lots of things I'm leaving. Oh, religion. Most people in Norway are not very religious. Most people in Norway belong to the Lutheran Church. They'll go to church at Christmas and Easter and for confirmation and for baptisms, but there's not a ton of them that go to church every week. And the Lutheran Church is by far the biggest denomination of Christianity in Norway. There started to be a fair bit of immigration from other countries into Norway, so it is changing. You know, I hope we can hold on to the culture, because it's a really cool culture. I never have a problem with somebody moving to a place as long as they want to be part of that place. So government, it's kind of a parliament style government. They have a king, but he's much more of a figurehead than anything else. And I will state this for the record, and this rubs some Norwegians the wrong way. I think royalty is dumb. I think to claim somebody is a king or a prince or a princess because they were born into a certain family and have certain blood, so they have blue blood, royal blood, is ridiculous to me. All people are the same. We're all born the same. Now, we're not all born in the same circumstances with the same opportunities. I get that. And some of us are very lucky. I was very lucky to be born in Norway. I was lucky to move to Canada. I was blessed to move to the States. And that was quite a process, moving to the States, by the way. Immigrating, if you do it the right way, is not the most easy thing. So yeah, I will toss some Norway stuff in here and there on my videos, just because I don't know. It's the only way I can say it is it's in my soul, it's in my blood. It's just part of me. I cannot wait to go back again. I can't wait to show my kids my country. I can't wait to show my wife my country. And yeah, it makes me emotional thinking about it. So I think we will leave it there. I appreciate so much all of you watching and following and leaving comments and thumbs up, and even, I say it all the time, even the negative stuff. I'll read it. I probably won't respond to it. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope y'all have a beautiful Friday, a beautiful weekend, and we will talk to you again soon. I'm going to keep these things going, and thank you very much. Til neste gang, vi snakkes igjen snart. Till next time, we'll talk again soon. Ha det. See ya. Peace. Love.